Joining us now for more on all this is journalist and political commentator Chris Cillizza. All right, Chris. Trump imposed some tariffs during his first term, but nothing like this, and nothing like this proposal. Is he bluffing, or do you think he'll actually do it?
Well, to your point, Elizabeth, he did impose tariffs, but much more targeted, even against China, which he makes a big deal out of. So this would be, even for him, a sort of step even beyond. I tend to think, and I think this is the answer to most of the questions about Trump, at least at this point in my mind, he views everything in life as a negotiation, right? I mean, he literally called his memoir The Art of the Deal. Like, he thinks he's a great negotiator. He's always looking for the high ground and the leverage in any negotiating situation. To me, announcing this 2 months-ish, I know it's a little less than 2 months, but about 2 months before he actually becomes president and can do anything, feels to me like a bargaining chip more than a sort of, I'm definitely going to do it. At the same time, if there is someone who would do something this, I use the word radical advisedly. I only mean that in terms of how we have approached trade with other countries in the past. If there is someone who would do this, Donald Trump certainly fits that bill.
So this would have a colossal impact on the American economy if these tariffs that he is threatening, if they go into effect. It would impact American companies and raise prices on everything from cars to smartphones to lumber that we use to build houses, which would impact how many houses we can build, fruit, vegetables, even the price of gasoline for your car, because Canada supplies 60% of crude oil in the United States. I mean, and inflation, by the way, was the #1 issue in this past election.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always said this during the campaign. If you go out on the street, even in Washington, which is like a nerd's paradise, if you go out on the street and you say, explain what a tariff is to me, the number of people who are going to be able to do that is very small. The average voter does not know.
All right, so explain it for our audience.
Okay.
For those.
So Kamala Harris did the right thing politically, which is you explain it as this is effectively a national sales tax, that if you do this, if you say we're going to sort of penalize you financially for bringing these things in, well, then the companies bringing it in will raise prices. Those prices, to your point, get handed down to the consumer, ultimately.
A tariff on China is not paid by China. It is paid by the company importing the goods from China, and that company then says, yo, I got to pass this on to somebody. It goes to the customer.
Correct. Now, Trump's argument in all of this, which I will say is not shared by the bulk of economists, although there are some, including his Treasury Secretary nominee, who agree with this. His theory is it works in two ways. Number one, we're this giant economy, and so when we move, it makes everyone else move around us, so that these worst case scenarios, as he would describe it, don't come true. And second, it incentivizes people buying things made in America, right? And that during the campaign, he would say this all the time. All of these companies, once I impose these tariffs, all these companies are going to move to America. I mean, you know, it's impossible for me to disprove that. I think that's unlikely. I will say this is why I think it's a more of a negotiating tactic than anything, Elizabeth. Exactly what you just showed in that graphic and what you talked about in your open. Gas, food. Yeah, I mean, these are basic.
Everything.
Right? Your phone. I mean, that's literally a list of things I really like in life. You know, I mean, not gas, but beer, fruit, phones, car.
Chocolate.
I mean, right.
A car.
If they put a tax on Sour Patch Kids, I'm really in trouble. No, I think the reality of the situation is these are things that people buy, if not every day, certainly weekly, like, you know, gas and food. And that's why I think ultimately he is not dumb enough politically to think, well, prices will be raised and that will be fine for me. That's a disaster politically, and why I don't think he'll do it.
And also, thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.